I'ma walk on the beat. I eat my plate and it make me obese. I've been pushing lyrics like a kingpin. And when did we got them.
What's up?
So midjourney is the chat GPT of the art world, if you will. And with any AI, it's all prompts. So learning the prompts and learning how to ask it to render the result, therein comes the fun part, right? So from a graphic designer's perspective, where you had a thought in your mind and you would have to draw it out, and you would have to use After Effects and Premiere and all the different programs, Illustrator and all that stuff, they're kind of taking that whole creative block aspect out of it and allowing you to take what you can think of and put it into a machine to help generate, is this what you were talking about? Is this what you were talking about? Now, obviously, there's a downside to all of it, but the upside to this stuff is, I don't want to say far more greater, but it makes what I do, makes what I do for independent labels and independent machines and companies and businesses, it makes it 1,000 times more efficient than before it was introduced. So yesterday, one of the things that I got it to do, and I was talking with Wendy about it, is I asked Midjourney to create images as if they were photographed by David LaChapelle, Lauren Grenfell, and Cameron Kirkland. David LaChapelle is the guy who took the picture of Tupac in the tub with all the jewelry on him. Lauren Grenfell is arguably one of the most prolific female photojournalists in the last 50 years. She did Generation Wealth on Amazon. Shout out to Generation Wealth. Kingpin is in there. They did the GQ documentary. Did a couple other ones, but Lauren Grenfell has always just been at the cutting edge. And obviously Cam Kirkland here in the city of Atlanta. If you haven't been shot by Cam, then you haven't been shot. You haven't been
shot, right.
So, and what it gave me was mind-alteringly like, wow. So nothing that, again, I could use to share or to post or to build off of, but something that I could use for engagement, something that I could use to ask somebody, find the AI picture. So now I've taken something that was entertaining to me and have translated it and shared that to my social media, to where now I've encouraged other people to now engage with this piece of content, which is by default going to help the piece of content that I'm going to post after it and the piece of content that I posted before it. So it's nothing more than giving me extra tools or an extra, think of a toolbox. AI is that drawer in the toolbox that you keep locked. You don't want nobody to go in there and play with your titanium tools. You don't want them to go in there and play with your power tools. That's what AI is for any creator. So if you're a photographer, if you're a graphic designer, if you're a producer, if you've ever made a song and you wanted to know would Michael Jackson sound good on it, try it, bro. Make it, create it, sound it, learn it, figure out how to use it, man. That's what you're supposed to do. This stuff
just
is not
don't put it out.
And if you put it out, be prepared to deal with the consequences.
What do you say to the people who may be a little nervous about AI and what they are? Could we kind of what is AI?
Let's take away the fear from
artificial intelligence.
What does artificial mean?
It's computerized
generated.
What does artificial mean?
Not
artificial
real.
Sweetener is what? Not real sweetener, right?
Correct.
Artificial leather is not real leather. So artificial intelligence is not real intelligence. Okay, because it can calculate.
It calculates.
It cannot reason.
It cannot reason. It calculates only.
Maybe
it has
will.
No emotion.
Maybe it will down the line.
Now.
Maybe it'll start to evolve, and maybe that's what people are.
Do you think that's because of movies and stuff like that, or do you think it's just going to stick at the calculation part?
I think that before
only?
5 years ago, the hair companies and the cartoon bots were all over our Instagram trying to steal our password. I think that in 2023, the AI is just going to do that. There are people that do good and bad in every facet.
In every situation.
Whether it's the PPP loans, there are people that got the money and did right with it, people that got the money and did wrong with it.
Right.
Student loans and financial aid and government assistance, there are people that do right with it and there are people that do wrong with it. There's
refund checks.
The people that are afraid,
people that don't.
The people that are afraid of AI are the ones that know that most of the people they know are pieces of crap. And those people will take something that is meant to benefit humanity and use it for the wrong. So if you know that the people are around you, if all you know is scammers, then you're mortified of AI. Because you know what a scammer does without your voice and your face. Could you imagine what they could do with it?
Right.
So in that aspect, it terrifies you. If you're a doctor that has been working on a cure for cancer since you got into the medical field for the last 30 or 40 years, and you now realize that there is AIs that can look at the temperature of your mouth, of the words coming out of your mouth, and can determine if you're sick or not by just looking at you talk. and using infrared sensors. So the technology is evolving. It's there to do good.
It's there.
It's there to do bad. It's
there. Yeah,
It's there. That we didn't have access to.
How can AI help or hurt the music industry?
Oh my God, this is a 20-hour conversation. Just the basics of ChatGPT, where if you...
What is ChatGPT?
ChatGPT is the...
I know. AI source.
It's openai.com, right?
Right.
And it is a free service where you can put in proper prompts and get answers. Understand though that the information that it has access to is pre-September 2021.
2021.
So you can't ask it questions about like, what is the temperature today? It won't be able to do that. But you can go in and prompt it to give you information about anything. It's good information in, good information out. So if you prompt it correctly, it can answer questions. Like I asked it a month ago, about grief, because I wanted to understand how grief worked and how trauma worked. And it was able to give me answers based on all of the intelligence that's already out there in the world. And it found what I think is correct, because at this point, we don't know if it's correct or not, right? But it found answers that to me were accessible and digestible and reasonable, so that I could then take that knowledge and incorporate it into my own brain and my own patterns to deal with situations that cause me stress and cause me grief and cause me angst, and have made me a better person today because of that, and are continuing to make me a better person. How can we use it for music? We can ask it about marketing plans that worked, what works, what doesn't work. We can ask it to find our fan base.
Whoever had the
it can write
marketing
our
plan
bios.
Entered that marketing plan and set information into their database.
Yes.
And remember this phrase, asked it to prioritize that information. Don't ask me why I know, motherfucker. I spend all of my life trying to figure this shit out.
Yeah.
It won't tell you what you think it will. Hey man, give me a list of all of the shops that I can go to here. I'm sorry, I'm a language-based AI. If you want to do that, Bard is another fun competitor. This is the Google one. This is the one that's now unlocked with all the different plugins and stuff.
Is it open to everybody now?
Or is it still beta?
Bard.google.
Bard?
B-A-R-D.
Bard is.
I think it's bard.google.com.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. But it's definitely, I use all of them. I use more AIs in the last maybe about 2 months. It's what I've been focusing with. I've been training it and I've been learning from it every single day. We teach each other. It teaches me how to ask it questions, and I teach it how to arrive at the answers or at the solutions or the formula that I'm looking for, so that I can continue to build. And then I come in next week. And if you've never used ChatGPT, when you open it up, you're going to be able to open a new chat. So every day that you wake up, unless you're finding something that you want to continue to build on, this is what I do. I wake up in the morning and I'll open a new chat, and I'm going to ask it, good morning. I'm going to treat it like a person, like it's my assistant. And from there on, I'm going to tell it.
Technically is, but go ahead.
I'm going to say, it'll tell me, what are we doing today? What do you need help with today? Today, I want to come up with X, Y, Z. Are you ready for the task? Yes. Okay. Now, if you know what to ask it, then you go ahead and start asking. But if you don't know what to ask it, you can ask it to ask you the questions that it'll need answered to give you the answers. So, hey, I need you to do this. I'm an language-based AI. Okay, cool. As the CEO of Rockefeller Records, that was in prominence from the year 1992 to 2002, I want you to give me a marketing plan from the mind of Damon Dash, written in the tone of Kevin Hart, spoken as Paul Mooney. And it'll do it.
And it can do it.
Because it's calculating. It's going to take all of the information that it has, and it's going to 2.76 trillion calculations a nanosecond. It can think fast.
Very fast.
Calculate very, very fast. So I think, like Wendy was saying, one of the most important things with it is going to be not being afraid of it. It's just like, it's okay if you don't do it right. Just do it. Start learning. Start figuring out what are things that you know to be fact, and start working with those things so that you can see where it may give you misinformation, or why it may give you misinformation, or why it didn't give you full information. Mm-hmm. I've been able to get it to, how does it help the music industry? Something that took, maybe I shouldn't say this, but something that would have normally taken me 5 days and 3 people to do, I could do in one sitting by myself. That's scary. Very fucking scary.
You can use it, like, here's some practical applications for somebody that's just getting into it. You can use it to write captions for your social media. You can get it to write a bio for you in the flavor of whatever writer that you really admire. There's ways to use it where you're not infringing upon anybody's intellectual property or violating any copyrights. And I think that's the issue right now. That was the issue at the Music Biz conference, was the IP. Like, lawyers all over,
who owns the world. Is it the person who owns the software?
Are freaking out,
or
right?
The person, because in order for copyright, I think legally, technically, in the actual verbiage of copywriting, it has to be done by a human being.
In 2023, it does.
Right, it has to be done. Currently, it has to be done by a human being.
And that's not a human being. It's a
machine, but it's based on other people's IP. So it's based on what it knows about you, him, her, everybody. So technically, even though it's a machine, the information's being compiled by information that is technically human based.
It is human based.
It's all created human based.
So it just hasn't been argued in court yet.
Now, so there's
no precedent.
When you go into the AI program and you ask it to give you a marketing plan and it spits out that marketing plan, who owns it? You? The company who owns the software or the AI that put it out? Where does the intellectual ownership go? So in a world where everybody is telling you to constantly create a podcast in the prompt. In a world where everybody's telling you to create a podcast and to get on social media, but nobody's telling you how to monetize that. Here's a fun fact. That unless you have 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers, you're not monetized on YouTube. Here's a fun fact. After you get 4,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours and you have to apply for monetization. You're not eligible for monetization after you've crossed that threshold. You have to apply for it. And then guess what? You want to get that money? Where's your EIN number? Where's your banking number? So none of that stuff is yours until you've gone and followed all
the protocols.
Come on, baby. Protocol. That's what it boils down to. And AI can't do that for you. AI doesn't know what it takes to release a record. Because if you went to AI and asked it, give me a rollout plan for Jay-Z, it's going to tell you the same thing that Wendy Day wrote in her book. Find your target audience, build enough content. It's not going to tell you have to post this website. Right. You're going to have to go here. No, Bozo the Clown. It's not going to do that. There is no machine. There is no person that you could just talk to and say, how do I do it? And they're going to... Doesn't exist.
That sounds too easy.
AI can have the potential to do that after it's been prompted and taught enough times how to do it right. If there's 100,000 songs dropping a day and 10,000 of those people are responsible for those 100,000 songs, and 9,999 are going to ChatGPT and telling it to do it wrong, how will it ever know how to do it right?
You make a good point.
That's the problem with it. You ask it to give you give me a list of the best skateboarding parks in Atlanta, Georgia, using social media engagement, hashtags, tags, likes, and favorites. It's going to give you skate parks that aren't open no more.
Because remember, September 2021.
Because those social media has only been, in the last 10 years, social media has become an amenity of our life. In America,
it's an amenity.
It's a necessity. It's right up there with water and social media. Internet connection is right. Internet connection more than anything is equal to water, food, and light in this country. I don't know about any other country.
I'd rather have my internet connection than water, food, or light.
Man, you should see how my kids react when the Wi-Fi go out.
Come on, so
you should see how I react, and I'm an adult. Man, jeez, I go ham.
This is what we're talking about. These are the things that are going to help you identify how to get your music to your fans in a more efficient, time efficient, cost efficient manner, and then allow you to put a game plan together to keep doing that over and over and over. And therein lies the success. There is your generational wealth. There's the wealth for your children to be able to come into the league and play early. There's the opportunity for you to take all the people around you and put them in Mr. Beast just bought a whole community in North Carolina, bought a whole subdivision, and he's building houses for everybody in his team. Isn't that the goal?
I thought it was.
Yeah, Boosie building. Boosie, shout out to Boosie in Atlanta, building a neighborhood for his kids in his backyard. Everybody's going to have their own modern house. Isn't that the goal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why we've deviated from that is beyond me, but it's okay.
We've lost our way.
Because technology is giving us the ability to connect with more like-minded individuals. Shout out to my wife. She's learning about how technology impacts interaction, and just learning all of the different things that she's learning and learning how the mind works in relation to social media. And I say that to say this is, social media, social connection has allowed us to identify communities with people that we can relate with, which is what we talked about earlier in one of our recent episodes, is about that community. I'm a member of this music community, and social media has allowed me to connect with other like-minded individuals. That's why you guys are watching this show right now, because social media allowed you to find us and brought you here. The information is what's going to keep you here. Our energy and our validity and our honesty and our truths is what's going to keep you coming back. And I think that if you guys can apply that same logic to your music or your t-shirts or your website, then you too will start to see those results and get more support from the people that you want to help you, like us. I'd love to repost your stuff. Is it ready to be reposted? Will you benefit if 15 DJs that follow me grab your song and play it? If not, then I don't want to reshare your content, bro. You just wasted my time. You wasted their time. And more importantly, you made yourself look like a fool. Make sense?
Makes sense. Cheat code.
Cheat
Cheat code.
Get a mug.